All right, guys,
Live.
welcome. There we go. Welcome to the Going Ballistic podcast. This is episode number 25. For those of you that have been wanting more podcasts lately, you've got two back-to-back, so that's a good thing, right? Try to get more regular schedule. I say that every time. We'll see if I mean it now. With the technology working better, with my schedule working better for some entrepreneurial activities versus being full-time legal stuff, we'll see if we can do it. So how you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good.
What did we not cover last time in my rant going off on SIG good and SIG bad?
I think you pretty much covered everything as far as I know.
Well, so just to update everyone, the SIG came out now and is doing the voluntary upgrade. They're not charging people, which is great. And it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. They're paying shipping both ways. If you picture labor, even if they could get it done in about 15 minutes, they have to remill the slide, do the parts. But at least they're doing the right thing and getting the guns upgraded so they're safe. So I'm happy to hear that.
Now, did they actually release more information on doing that?
I think they put out emails on how you can contact people and where you can go, things like that. So we'll see. I'm excited they did it. I'm hoping no one else gets hurt, as we talked about. Can't really complain. They're taking some responsibility for it and they're upgrading it. So good for them. The next thing that's going to be curious to see is whether it affects the government contract or not. And it is a different handgun, but they're based off the same model. So we'll see. We'll see. So everyone out there, let us know in the comments if it's working. You can see what's going on. Questions are already coming in. We'll try and get to them, but we have a bunch we wanted to cover anyway. So talk to me about your rifle, Jason. We covered how you're happy with it. And now you got a buddy that wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, I got a buddy who's basically wanting to get a starter 308 set up, kind of similar to what I built, and just wants to start getting into it, which is good for me because I'm actually going to have someone that I can go out and shoot with, spot with, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, especially the heat's starting to die off here, so in the next month it's going to be time to get back to shooting weather.
If you move out to Tennessee, I can shoot with you out here.
Yeah, I know. I thought about just flying out on the weekends, but work schedule.
You can get like a Frontier Airlines $49 round trip from Phoenix to Nashville.
Really?
Yes. If you find one of those deals, I'll pay for your plane ticket. And I'll even put you up at the house.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's actually, we had some family come out and visit, and if you guys haven't checked them out yet, I heard they charge you for everything though. So like they charge you for your carry-on. They charged my mother-in-law for her purse so she walked on the plane. I'm not kidding. But she made it round trip from Nashville to Phoenix for under $100. So you can't beat that if you just want to go on the cheap. So that's good. It's good for her. So yeah, we'd love to have you out here, man, especially as the weather's getting better. You get see what leaves look like on trees.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't have much for trees around here.
Well, and so the wind, I never knew how variable the wind was out here in the Mid-South. And it makes sense why there's so many good shooters, long-range shooters come out of this region, and why there's so many long-range shooters out in the Southwest. One, in the Southwest, you have all the distance. You can see forever. But two, I remember all the wind out there, and you would get a couple directions of wind, but it would stay fairly consistent. The wind out here is throwing me for a loop. It's been good for me to learn again what I need to pay attention to, but out to even what I would consider medium distance, 600 yards, you're getting 3 different directions of wind sometimes out here. And right when you think you got the wind at the target figured out and you're looking at the closer wind and you get ready to shoot and the shot misses the target by a mile the wrong way and you're, what in the world just happened? And you look back at the target again, and you're like, yeah, the wind's still going about 5-6 miles an hour. And you stop and go, wait a minute, is it going the other way now? It'll just change on you in the middle. So it's definitely a challenge. I'm really enjoying it. And maybe that's why I'm going to the 6.5 bandwagon now too, is because I don't want to have to chase the wind so much at the 308.
And how are you liking your 6.5?
Well, it's the Cleckner rifle. I like it, but I don't. So the reason I like it is because it's the coolest, most accurate rifle I could possibly build. The reason I don't like it is it actually takes all the fun out of the job. It is, you don't have to try to shoot it. I sit down and I shoot just obscenely good groups, and I get so excited I want to stop and like go take a picture or go do something, to memorialize. Wow, that's an amazing group at the target at that really far distance. And then you shoot again. You go, oh, well, that was good too. Pull up my app on my phone and go, oh, let's stretch it out to 900. Let's go to 1,000. Let's see what it does here. Bang, tink. Oh, well, I wonder if I can do that again. And you hit again. You have to look through spotting scope and go, wow, that's in the same spot because it's hard to tell the paint. Okay, you do that about 10 or 15 times, and it kind of goes, well, time to pack up and go. It's just I've never had that feeling before because I always like showing up to the range with the sleeper. We've talked about that. I want to show up with the gun that just looks beat to hell and then outperform somebody that has the best equipment. Well, this is the best equipment, and it really does cross a line where it's so accurate you can't miss. When I shoot groups with it, when I get a group where there's paper between the holes, it's a bad group. And I thought that's what I wanted. I kind of feel let down, honestly, Jason. This is one of these things that you chase and you chase and you chase as a shooter to get that precise. And then you get there and you go, oh, that's not that great after all. Like that's takes all the fun out of the job. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. 6.5 is also, I don't know if it's the chamberings that I had done on the rifles or the rounds I'm using or just using good components, but I've been very generous on my loads. I actually left with a box, Lapua, the ammo, or Lapua, depending on how you pronounce it. The brass comes in a blue box that converts into a cartridge case. So there's like a little snap out lid, and you can store the rounds in there, to like segregate them. So they come loose, but it has this little segregator for you. But it's still a horrible design that I found out. I didn't know this. If the box tips, they all get mixed up anyway, because the lid is so high, they pop out of their holes. So I meticulously loaded, 5 rounds at a time, slightly more and more powder all the way across. Got to the range, and they were a jumbled mess. So I didn't shoot it. I shot some other guns. I came back home. I tried to weigh sort them, but I was doing, tenths of a grain difference, and it was too hard to get them sorted. So I did them the best I could, kind of from heaviest to lightest with a big chunk in the middle, and thought, well, I got to shoot them. I'm not going to waste the ammo. So I went to the range next time and shot them, and they all grouped amazing. And it just made me more frustrated that why am I taking all this time loading the ammo so precisely when I'm shooting 5-round groups of 5 rounds of ammunition I know can't be the exact same, and they're still shooting perfect. So it's like, why in the world would I care about that kind of accuracy of the grain weight going in if it clearly doesn't matter on the way out? So it's been a fun experience, but I think I kind of want to go back to riding a Huffy now. I'm riding the carbon fiber magnetic levitation, Olympic road bike, and it's just too easy to go fast. So I kind of want to go back to something that's a little more challenging, honestly.
Now, see, I haven't reached near that goal yet, so I'm just ecstatic with what I have currently. So I'm sure something like that would be, it'd just be a change every time.
So we've covered it on the podcast. I need to go back and listen to our podcast because it's been so long. I forget all the stuff we've covered. I repeat myself anyway. It's even worse when I don't remember what we've talked about on the podcast. I ruined you on AR-15s by having you shoot a moderately good AR-15.
Yes.
Right. It ruined your opinion on what you liked. And I warned you ahead of time, there's no going back from this. Once you know what a good AR-15 is like, you're not going to want a cheap one anymore.
Right.
I think this is more than double true for this rifle. So I want to let you shoot it, but I kind of don't also because I like hearing that you enjoy yourself at the range.
Well, it is. It's funny because, like you said, when we got the Bushmasters, I mean, I come from hunting rifles, so this is all new to me anyway. So when we got the Bushmaster, I was ecstatic. I'm like, oh, I want an AR-15. Look at me.
Right.
Well, then we built one. Or actually, no, I bought the AAC, and I'm like, oh, this makes that thing horrible. And then we built one, and it's funny. Even though the one I built is better, I wouldn't say it's as drastic of a change as it is from the Bushmaster to the AAC. It's better, but not dramatically better.
Oh, right. You used a little bit better components. You used 10% better components.
Right.
Not twice as good. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and it's funny because I can't. In fact, I sold the Bushmaster. I think I shot it a couple times and got rid of it. I thought I'm never going to shoot this thing. Now, with that being said, our cheap build off that we had.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually one of my most favorite guns now, just to go and plink and shoot. I love it. That thing is a blast. It weighs hardly nothing. And I don't know if it's because I know in my mind it's cheap and I can kind of beat it up more, or that's what makes it more fun. But one of my more fun guns is that cheap one I built.
I have to admit, I saw the video of the El Cheapo that I gave away a couple days ago, and I kind of missed it. I wish I had it because, yeah, it was obnoxious, and that was what was fun about it, and it worked. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, that's funny. So I had someone email me recently, a listener, asking a lot of questions about which caliber to use and which gun and which scope. I mean, I probably should just put a FAQ page together so it's the same answer every time, and just have an autoresponder. Thank you for emailing me. In case you happened to ask which cartridge I recommend, which gun I recommend, see below. I go back to the same thing every time, folks. I'm going to answer your question with a question. I'm sorry to do that, but it's going to be, what's your intended purpose? I use the analogy of cars. You ask me what the best car for you to get is. I don't know. You want to haul lumber? Get a pickup truck. You want good gas mileage? Get a Prius. Both of those are actually horrible at the opposite thing. The Prius doesn't haul lumber, and the pickup truck doesn't get good gas mileage. So I can't tell you which car is best for you. You have to tell me what you need it. And when it comes to hunting rifles, I'm getting a lot of people now reach out to me. Maybe this is good. Maybe this is, I'm tapping into the hunting market now, and I'm not, as many the target shooters anymore. But the hunters are starting to worry about what guns or what calibers they should get. And if for a hunting rifle, I'm a big believer that you should have a caliber that you can find at a gas station or a gun shop in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. Because in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, the gas stations really do sell ammo. And I think if you're going on a hunting trip and you're going to spend all that money and all that time and you forget your box of ammo, or something goes wrong, who knows, out in the rain or on a trip, I would love to have a caliber that someone else in the group might have, or that I can go down to the local sporting goods store and get. So 300 Win Mag, 7mm mag, 308, 30-06, things not like Jason's, was it 300 H&H? Is that what you shoot?
Yeah, that's my favorite gun.
Get something, in my opinion, you can just go down and grab a box, and who cares what it is going to work in your gun. So they was asking me about whether you should get the 7mm odd 8, or a 308 or a 7mm Magnum. Well, get the 308. I think a 308 is going to be fine for anything in North America. Maybe not for a Grizzly, but modern 308 is equivalent to 30-06. It really is. Just the powders and the bullets are getting better. And then you have a short action rifle, which is lighter and easier to carry, easier to run the bolt and use, and you can use it for long range shooting if you want to. And where in the world can you not find 308? I mean, it's a NATO cartridge.
Right.
And if you're going to go to 30-06 to go to long action, I have a 30-06. My dad's hunting rifle, that's my kind of heirloom to pass down, is a 30-06. I'll never get rid of it. But if I had a choice to start fresh, I'd probably go 300 Win Mag. And I don't like that cartridge. Jason, what do you think about that cartridge?
I hate it.
That's why I asked. But it'll do everything you need it to do. I mean, again, the 308 will too. I mean, you have an elk quartering away from you at 400 yards. First off, I don't think I've ever shot 400 yards at a game animal before. But if you wanted to hunt that far away, and it's quartering away, yeah, maybe you need the 300 Win Mag to pile through, a shoulder and a bunch of the meat of the elk. But any other normal shot, a 308 is going to be just fine. Maybe Grizzly, I mentioned, you might want more power. So, but the 300 Win Mag, no matter how abusive it can be on your shoulder, you're going to find it everywhere. 7mm mag, you'll find everywhere. 7mm odd 8, good luck. You're not going to find it very, very many places. So it's just more expensive, harder to find. I wouldn't do that. And he was asking also about which rifle to get, the Tikka or like a CZ, or CZ as they call it. We call it CZ, a CZ 550. My advice is both are awesome. I mean, get them both. There's my answer. I think the CZ 550s are gorgeous rifles. I mean, they are the safari hunter's rifle. Most of the professional hunters out there in Africa use the CZ 550. That's what they have. That is like the staple safari rifle to have in 375 H&H. It's just such a robust, good-looking, amazing rifle. Now, you want a rifle that you can throw on the back of your truck and not worry about the weather, and you want some modern technologies to it. You want the smoother bolt, you want the nice adjustable trigger, you want all those things. Get a Tikka. I mean, $600, you can have a Tikka Light. So modern synthetic stock can be abused a little bit better. Get the Tikka. You want a classic heirloom gun that you would like to hand down to somebody and have it still have the value and mean something. Get the CZ 550 for sure. So he came back. This guy that was asking me these questions, he came back. He said, "Well, the Sako, which is Tikka's parent company, isn't much more. It's like only $500 more, and they're premium, super nice guns." I still am such a Tikka fanboy. They are so nice. I still think I'd take the Tikka over the Sako. And his scope options were some very entry-level scopes. Take the extra $500 between the cost of the rifles and get a better scope. Blow that Tikka out, run it into the ground, and then someday, if you really want to, upgrade it. But I think you can't go wrong right now. For $1,000, $1,200, you can get a Tikka light and stainless, which is going to be a 6-pound rifle. Might knock your teeth out, but it's going to be nice to carry. Decent scope, decent rings, and a sling and the box of ammo for that price, versus wasting all your money on the gun and then having a crap scope or not having any time or money left for practicing. What do you think, Jason?
Well, and that's my issue with hunting rifles. I mean, I wouldn't say never, but I don't like owning a very, very nice, expensive rifle for hunting. I'm going to be dragging it through sticks and bushes and dropping it on rocks here and there. And if you're too concerned about what's going to happen to your gun while you're out hunting, then it just becomes a stressful trip. That gun that I got from you during that sale, which was the 793, I believe.
No, 783. 783.
That thing's been fantastic. It's been a wonderful gun. I mean, it's been
they're amazing for how cheap they are.
Driving gun, yeah.
Yeah. And the barrels, you haven't looked inside of it, but those barrels look horrible inside.
Yeah.
They look like a rough corn cob. They should not shoot, but they do.
The first time I took it out hunting, I dropped a 6x6 elk. The next morning, I let my brother-in-law Eddie borrow it. He dropped a 5x5 with it. It's been a great gun.
What was that cost to you in that sale? Like a couple $100, wasn't it?
That was like $200. And it shoots wonderful groups.
Yeah, and you're not going to freak out if it got a little bit of rust on a trip or if you drop.
Right.
I'm not saying abuse the gun, but
no, but I would concentrate more on one that performs, one that doesn't. I know there were some Remington 700s at one point that my old brother-in-law had one that when you would bolt it, it would misfire. And
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really? So, those are the things I would look into more for a hunting rifle.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking about like your hunting boots. You're not going to get, these super fancy, pretty boots that you don't want to get muddy or dirty. You're going to get out there and hunt with it.
Right.
It's not a range queen. I mean, I like wood stocks. I'm kind of a sucker still for hunting rifles with wood stocks. It makes no sense. It's not practical. It's going to, perform poorly in the moisture. It's going to get dinged up. But that's the only part of the gun that used to be alive. There's just a little bit of a warmth to a wood, but I get it. Most of my guns are synthetic stocks. But I kind of like an older style hunting rifle. I don't want to beat them up any more than the next guy, but I also don't want to take something so nice or so heavy out there that I just am afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to travel. Go put that gun on some luggage in a plane, and if you're going to go up, up north in Alaska, get a gun that's reliable and that's a tool and it's not pretty. Bring a Glock. Don't bring a custom polished 1911.
Right. And even with the 308 I built, I've played with the idea of taking it out hunting, and I still want to, but I'm not going to take it in, over a bunch of mountains for a couple miles because it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's heavy. It's not meant for it, but you're going to sit there and shoot predators with it.
Sure. Absolutely. Because all I got to do is sit down and wait.
Right.
And that's our goal this year. That's going to be our new objective since we didn't get drawn for nothing.
Oh, that sucks, man. So that's another reason you need to come out here. You don't have to get drawn for everything like you do in Arizona.
Yeah.
I miss the public lands of Arizona for sure. And I miss the elk hunting. I mean, elk hunting, all the other hunting out there doesn't compare to elk hunting. But that being said, you can get a deer a day out here for the hunting season. So, and on 5 of the days, you can get 2 deer. So, mean, and I think the archery season here is a month or two longer than a normal hunting season. So I forget the dates, but I think it's about 4 months, give or take, where you can get a deer every single day if you want. So it's kind of nice. You got plenty of hunting if you want to hunt. Matter of fact, I got them in my backyard. Dogs have been going crazy at night barking at the deer. But I think I have a deal worked out with my wife. I got to figure out what the boundary was again. Within a certain boundary, they're pets, and outside that boundary, they're food. So I gotta go out there, and I'm gonna put up some construction tape and mark off my distance for myself, so I know what I can get. So
that's funny.
I went out and did some Barrett training recently. The boys at Barrett won some long range training for some new salesmen they had. And man, they got a top-notch group of guys that they hired up. They had hundreds of applicants for the new positions, and they whittled it down to these guys. I wouldn't want to have to do that myself. But they wanted to give them a good foundation of how to use the MRADs. You know, the Barret MRAD is the modular bolt-action rifle that goes anywhere from 308 up to 338 Lapua, and it has 300 Norma, 300 Win Mag, 6.5 Creedmoor, a whole bunch, 260. It does a bunch of calibers and just change the bolt head, change the barrel. It's kind of cool. And I've never grown on me. I shot them before. I've been out at Texas Triggers at Colby's Ranch shooting them, and they just look blocky and bulky and pistol gripped chassis. And it just looked like kind of what I would consider a Barrett to be, you know, the big 50 cal if they tried to make it into a sporting rifle. And honestly, I just always thought they kind of missed the mark in this kind of Frankenstein of a gun. And I'm not afraid to be so harsh about the gun because of what I'm going to say next. I want one. I have fallen in love with the MRAD. It is one of those things where if you guys are anything like me, I daydream about guns throughout the day. I'm constantly thinking about, oh, this caliber and this gun and that kind of thing. I'm catching myself thinking about the MRAD. It was from this course because I knew they were accurate. But being that bulky and that expensive and that everything, I was like, of course they can be accurate. That's not that impressive. But holy smoke. So they asked me what caliber I wanted for the course, and I told them to bring 308s because I wanted them to have practice calling wind and, you know, have inexpensive ammo to shoot with. And for a few times, I think a good instructor should not be afraid to shoot in front of the students. And there's a lot of instructors that don't believe that, by the way. Many instructors are deathly afraid of shooting in front of the students because in case they make a mistake or things like that. To me, I make a mistake, that's something to learn from, or if not, to demonstrate it. So I got down on their guns a couple times and expecting a big, clunky, heavy bolt, the way the mechanism looks. I mean, even the lugs, there's 3 bolt lugs on each side. Like, it's this huge, monstrous thing. That bolt is faster and smoother than a 700 bolt. I was able to take that thing and race it because I was trying to teach them wind calls. And so I would get on the target and I was trying to talk spotters into learning how to not only read the wind, but only give corrections that get you on target. That's one of the things I harp on in classes is stop telling people where they missed or how far they missed. Instead, tell them what they need to do to get a hit because it's wasted conversation in the meantime. So I knew the call was going to be a hold left on the target. I think it was 500 or 600. So I'm already holding left. So as soon as one of the students on the spotting scope says hold left, I crank the round off, I call my shot, and I run the bolt as fast as I can. And it surprised me. I mean, it was already home and ran. I went, wow. So I got back on the gun, ready for the next wind call, and as soon as the last syllable's out of their mouth, I shoot again, call it, run the bolt, and I was just racing as fast as I could. I went through that gun just as faster than I go through most guns. And I even had to talk to some of the Barrett guys and be like, guys, that clunky gun with a plastic shroud and the bolt inside the receiver, holy smokes, that was fast. And they brought up something I never thought about. There's a plastic shroud, Jason, that's around it. I'll have to send you a picture. It's a thick, I'm talking like 1/4 inch thick plastic shroud around the bolt inside that rotates and moves with it. It just seems weird to me because it's a different design. They mentioned something I never thought about, where most bolt actions, the bolt comes out of the receiver most of the way.
Right.
So when you go to push it in, it has no support anymore. It's not lined up. So it's easy to get it canted or cockeyed or get it to bind a little bit. Where this thing, even when it's at its full back position, it's still completely in the gun with that same plastic shroud. It's still held the entire length of the bolt. So it's impossible to get it to bind. It's actually crazy fast on the bolt. So then I was just having fun with some of the plate racks they had out there at distance with some of the students, just showing them what the angle did to the rifle as I was playing with things, and just flat out showing off on some of the targets. Was just blown away by the gun. So still happy with the Cleckner rifle, but I already told them, guys, I want to need one of these things just for the caliber conversions. I'll take one in 308 and 338 any day for how those things performed through that course. It was really impressive.
Now, speaking of the Barrett, is that not what the guy used to set that new record shot?
That is not what the guy used. Correct. He used a Macmillan Tech 50.
Macmillan Tech 50 is what it was.
Yeah. The Barrett 50 cal is a really cool method to shoot a 50 BMG bullet from the shoulder. That's what it is. It is billed as a sniper rifle in the military or in Hollywood, and I don't think it should be. They're not accurate, and I don't think anyone should be offended by that. They're just not. The barrel moves on a Barrett 50, like an M107 or an M82. You can walk up and grab the barrel while the rifle's sitting there, and you can wiggle the barrel because it's on springs and it moves in the receivers as it shoots. So it's an amazing design to shoot such a big cartridge semi-auto from the shoulder. That's really, really cool. The problem is because the cartridge is so powerful and it has therefore so much range and so much energy down range, people then automatically attributed, oh, long range sniper rifle. And so that's kind of what I did with the MRAD. I mean, because I had so much experience with the Barrett in the military of just kind of being not an accurate rifle, good for what it was supposed to do, but that's about it. And had a little bias to the MRAD, and man, I was wrong. So don't be surprised if you guys see some more pictures on like Instagram or stuff like that of me out there. I might be picking up an MRAD. I was actually about to pick up a Socko TRG in 338 just because I wanted to snag one. And I might be getting an MRAD instead, which says a lot because I think the best, for a long time now, the best 338 Lapua rifle I think you can get is that Socko TRG. I mean, it's amazing in every way. And I'm thinking about getting this MRAD instead just because I've been shooting them enough. I've shot probably about 100 rounds of the 338 through that gun on different trips. And it's finally all coming to a circle now of maybe I should just get that gun. Maybe there's a reason that all the guy that took my spot in the sniper section when I left became, part of the government procurement process. And I had texted him, hey, I'm out here doing whatever. And his first comment was, yeah, those things are hammers, aren't they? Like they're amazing. I'm like, yes, who knew? Like nobody told me. I had no idea these things were actually like the best thing going. So now I really want one. I just really have to make sure mine has a 2-stage trigger because they offer them with both. So I'll be picky and get the 2-stage. But I'll let you know how it goes, Jason.
Excellent.
So speaking of training, for everyone out there that's been begging for a training course, I'm offering one. I'm going to be in Phoenix. Go look at the Facebook page. I have the details on there. I even need to go look it up right now just to make sure I tell you guys the right dates. September 23rd and 24th, I'm doing some precision rifle training with Jared Johnson of STA Training. Unfortunately, I think it's sold out. I don't know why I'm telling you about it still. There may have been a spot that's still open because of a mix-up of something. So maybe a spot or two open. I don't know. Race and go try to get in if you're interested at all. There's 10 slots for bunks out there. So there's a house out there and there's kind of group style sleeping. There's a 6 bunk room and a 4 bunk room. So the cost of the course includes the lodging. So that's not bad. It's out at a private facility and you're going to get Jared Johnson and me all day Saturday and Sunday. And I think we're capping the class at 12 just because we wanted to make sure that if you're paying the money, it's kind of pricey to get out there because you want to learn from me or you want to learn from Jared that you're actually getting the instruction from the two of us. So check it out. I'm sorry if I told you guys too late if it's already full, but go look at the Facebook page or you can go to STA Training Group's website and you can contact Jared through there. He's handling the registration for this first class. So reach out to Jared, check it out if you can make it. So that'd be cool.
Now, where's that located at exactly?
I don't want to say exactly because I don't want people out there. It's a little north of Phoenix. So we'll actually be meeting the students Friday night at the Anthem area. And for people that don't have trucks to get out there, we're going to shuttle people out there and then just stay out there. We'll shuttle them back. They can leave their cars in the Anthem area. And so it's all part of the description in the event there. If you have a truck or four-wheel drive and you want to go home or you want to go to a hotel, you can, of course. But I think if I know me and Jared, there's probably going to be half the fun and shenanigans will be happening at night anyway. So you might want to just stay out there and get the full experience. I'm actually going into town because my high school reunion. So I have my 20th reunion. I never went to the 10th, so I figured I might as well go this time. So Saturday night, I'll bail out and go do that and then come back. But I think we'll have a good time, and if you want a chance to make it, great. If not, stay tuned for the next ones. We'll announce another one. So, have you been looking at the comments, Jason? Have you been able to keep up with it?
No, actually what happened is I paused all that because I was starting to lag real bad with what we were doing. As
gotcha. No worries.
This is our test run, so.
Yeah, someone asked a question about scopes. 84 Roberto asked, which scope to get, and he listed a bunch. I just said Vortex or Loophole, so that was easy for him. Stephen Woods, you got in. Oh, awesome, man. Looking forward to having you out there. It'll be nice to meet some of you guys and give you some training. Just make sure you bring enough ammo, and please bring good enough equipment. Don't go waste your money. Ask Jared or me before you go waste money. But if you don't think something's going to last the course, I'd rather you rent a rifle from Jared or me or get something good, because sitting out there with a broken rifle or broken gear and not being able to enjoy the class would be a shame. The Rocket FFL videos are up, Jason. I finally got them up there. I still need to do the course main page video before people buy it, but if you pay for the Rocket FFL course now, you have all the videos inside. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's a new venture I started to get people their FFLs. People have been talking all last week about, Form 4 times are going to get faster because the ATF finally came into the 1970s and added barcodes to the paperwork. So now if you go through Silencer Shop or some of the other places, you'll be a barcode that actually gets printed out on your Form 4. So when you send it in, the ATF can just scan the barcode and it enters all the information that's already on the form for them. So it saves all the errors of them entering information all the time. And people are expecting, a month or more shorter time for the wait, which is awesome. You're going to get from like 10 months down to 9 months. So that's really a big difference and good for you guys. But I made a post on Facebook going, everyone's all excited about getting from like 10 months down to 9 months. And I'm over here saying, if you use Rocket FFL, you can get your FFL in 2 months. And with your FFL, you can actually, own machine guns. And you can't do that normally. So you got to become an SOT, of course, but you can transfer things on the Form 3, which takes, less than a month now? I think they're getting them in 3 weeks now. So you could load up on 10 silencers, easily overlapping within a year, and a couple post-86 machine guns if you want, which are completely illegal to own without an FFL. Now, there's other things you have to go through. I'm not saying it's just like they hand the machine gun to you. So I've had some people on Facebook get upset, like, well, that's misleading. You have to do all these other things. Well, of course. I also didn't just say, and you can't be a felon. I'm assuming you guys know there's more paperwork and stuff that goes into it. But the fact of the matter is, it's illegal to possess a post-86 machine gun if you're not an FFL. And if you are an FFL, you can legally possess one. So, going to rocketffl.com and getting your FFL within 2 months and then being able to order your guns at distributor pricing and things like that. I put a blog post up that actually shows after your first sale, you make your money back. So for $59, I think it is, I hope I didn't get the number wrong, you can get your FFL and SOT together through Rocket FFL. You buy and sell your first Glock, you're going to make like $120 on the Glock. So not only are you going to get your guns cheaper and save money, you're actually going to make money on your friends. You're going to be like the go-to firearms guy. So if you're worried about the price, one gun sale, you've more than double made your money back of what Rocket FFL will cost you. So I really appreciate you guys supporting it. Go check it out.
So I have an ignorant question to go with that. So
shoot.
If I had my FFL, I'm assuming I can buy the gun and then I do what? Transfer it to myself from the FFL?
Yeah, if you want, or just keep it on the FFL. So to get an FFL, you got to have some sort of business purpose. It can't be solely personal. But you wanting to sell a few guns on Gunbroker, that can be a business purpose. And you want to buy some guns for you, Okay, buy some guns for you. When you buy them, I would transfer them to you on a 4473. Like, treat yourself like the gun shop and just sell it to yourself. That's one way to do it.
Okay.
The other way is if it's a cool gun that you want to demo. You know, you want to get a short barrel rifle 9mm AR because you think it's cool and you think other people think they're cool. Well, get one and take it to the range and demo it and show people how cool it is and tell them, hey, you want one, I can snag you one. You know, and there's no reason you can't keep that on your license if you're using it for a business purpose when you're out, you know, showing it off or taking pictures with it or training classes with it and things like that. That's all business purpose.
But
or yeah, just transfer it to yourself.
You still have to do a Form 4 and a Form 23 to have the short barrel rifle, or no?
As an individual, yes. So if you keep it on the license and it stays as a business firearm, whether you're a sole proprietor or not, then no, because it belongs to the FFL. And interestingly, if you get rid of the FFL, everything's already yours. You don't have to do a transfer again. So you could get an FFL and an SOT, go buy 20 or 50 silencers because you're going to pay the SOT, the tax once. So for $500, you're going to pay the special tax, which means on your third NFA item, you've saved money because you would have normally paid $600 for those 3 NFA items. And you go ahead and get yourself 20 or 50 NFA items. If you decide to get rid of your FFL and SOT, all those items magically become yours. Because of that, the ATF is very careful to make sure you're not doing that just to avoid the system. You know, if they feel like you're doing it just to get around paying a tax, that could be a serious no-no. But yeah, it's kind of cool. The only thing you actually have to get rid of when you get rid of your FFL or SOT is the post-86 machine gun, because that's the only thing that you're legally not allowed to possess. But yeah, you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, but all the guns were in the business. Everything but the post-86 machine guns can just switch over to your name, because if you're a sole proprietor and you are the FFL, it's already registered to you and in your name.
Yeah, do you have to resubmit Form 4s and 23s? Not at all.
No.
Or none of the silencers or short barrel rifles, they just become
Right.
yours?
They're yours.
That is crazy.
Which is why some people do that. I recommend against that. That is not only illegal, that's just, why would you bring extra attention to yourself? The ATF's going to recommend that you do like a Form 5, which is a tax-free transfer notification to the ATF. You can let them know. But this is one of those things that gets more discussion, like even between us now, than it really deserves, because that's not likely to happen. If you're going to get an FFL, get one because you want to make some money. You know, you want to be, sometimes it's fun being the guy in your gun group, the go-to guy. Everyone comes to you to order the guns. And if you decide you're going to make $10 on every gun you sell to your friends, that's called a business. So, you know, I can get a Glock Gen 3 from Lipsy's with free shipping, free 2-day shipping to my FFL address for $440. If I decide to sell those to my friends for $450, Glock might not be happy, but I'm not breaking the minimum advertised pricing because I'm not advertising it. I made $10 off the transaction, so maybe it was worth my time. My buddy's happy. ATF's happy because I'm clearly making money. I'm engaged in the business. That's a great way to do it. Get a Glock for yourself and don't charge yourself anything. You know, get a couple other Glocks, put them up on Gunbroker. If they don't sell, keep them listed until they do sell. That's all that is clearly engaged in the business, and you can do a bunch of stuff in between.
Now, you have your videos and stuff put together to help with, because I would imagine anybody jumping into an FFL would be concerned with just doing the paperwork, making the phone call, making sure the person clears. That would probably be the most deterring thing, I would think.
Yeah. Well, it's a serious business. You know, I don't want to scare people away from it because I want to make money convincing people to do it. But I have a separate course on ATF compliance because there's way more that you need to know than you can cover in a course on getting your FFLs. But getting the FFL, I cover an introductory chapter, which I give away for free. So you join, you don't have to put your credit card in, you just join for free, get the free trial, check out the first chapter to see how I teach, to see the quality of the software and the videos and things like that. You'll recognize the background in the videos. And then chapter 2 jumps into the background regs you need to know. It starts talking about the difference between the Gun Control Act and the National Firearms Act and what you need to know about the FFL system and responsible persons and things like that. And then it's not until chapter 4 do you even start filling out the application. And that's the only chapter that is filling out the actual paperwork is chapter 4. Chapter 5, the entire thing is basic compliance. We talk about ATF compliance, import-export compliance, cover just a super high level of everything with a huge warning that says this gets way more complicated. You know, check out more information if you need to. And then it goes on to chapter 7 about what you do day 1 when you get your license, getting set up with a distributor. I have some distributors out there that have made deals with me that if people sign up through Rocket FFL, that they will start them as a distributor from house. Because most people have a problem too. They get their FFL, they call the distributor, and the distributor doesn't want you because they want a storefront. They want 100 guns of inventory, things like that. But I have some of the major distributors have, again, made deals. You call them up and say, hey, came through Rocket FFL, there's a link in the course. They'll set you up and you can just order 1 gun at a time like I do. Somebody wants a gun from me, I go onto the website, click what's in stock, whatever I want, click checkout, automatically debits my account, and 2 days, like Amazon Prime for guns. 2 days later, I get guns at distributor pricing. And you got to be careful. Do your paperwork. Keep your nose clean, keep things in order. But man, if you're a gun guy, you're wasting money by not being an FFL.
Right.
You're not only going to save a ton of money on guns, you're going to get guns that you couldn't get, had before. But you're going to make money too. So to me, it's a no-brainer, but I'm obviously biased.
No, it sounds awesome.
I mean, I'm a manufacturer. Some people say too, oh, you can't be a manufacturer if you live in a place with a homeowners association. Actually, you can. I have a big client that I actually just got one of the officers of the company. He wanted his own personal FFL. I got him one, and he's got an HOA. Got a manufacturer's FFL. So I can act with manufacturer's FFL. I can take one of my AR-15s if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could take a Dremel and mark the AR-15 because you have to mark a gun when you make it. So if it was an AAC, Jason, I could take it and scratch into it, Cleckner Rifle Company, Nashville, Tennessee, and then take a DeWalt drill and drill 1 hole for the full auto sear, and I can make myself a machine gun tonight if I want to as a manufacturer. I don't have to get permission from the ATF. I don't have to have any waiting period. I literally can make a machine gun whenever I want as a manufacturer. That's kind of cool. I mean, I have to be engaged in the business. I have to at least, be willing to sell them, but I don't know. They're kind of a waste of ammo and a waste of time. But when everyone talks about all the waiting periods and stuff for NFA, guys, I don't know anyone that's into NFA that by the time 10 years has passed doesn't have at least 3 NFA items. Right? It's kind of like, I guess, tattoos. You get addicted to them. You're going to get a few of them. If you just pulled the trigger and got an FFL in 2 months, bought your 3 NFA items all at once, after like 3 or 4 months, you would have had everything done for way cheaper than you did just doing it the normal way. So I don't know. It just makes more sense to me. But
now this would, of course, be also for a personal thing. How would that work? Let's say if you had employees, would it be similar to a trust? They would be allowed to use the item?
Yeah. So it's got to be a bona fide employee for a bona fide business purpose. And a bona fide employee is like a W-2 employee, not a contractor. And a bona fide business purpose has to be legitimate to the business. So you're going to go demonstrate the gun for sale. You're going to go do a photo shoot. You're going to do something like that. They can take the gun, and as long as it's the real employee for a real business purpose, wherever that employee goes, they're treated as if they are on premises still. So the gun doesn't even transfer off of your books. It's counted as if it's still in your inventory. So when you go to SHOT Show, and these gun companies send 300 guns, if the ATF showed up to audit them in the books, it'll say that 300 guns should be on site. They're not even logged out because it's counted as an extension of their facility when they're out there. So yeah, that's a benefit to it. And for machine guns, there's people that do it. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying there's guys out there that have machine guns, and it's because they happen to be an employee of X company across the country. And if they're actually on a W-2 and they actually get paid, minimum wage for a couple hours a year for consulting, I mean, it meets the standard. So people can do it.
Interesting. So
I don't want to say what the next company is because it's not ready yet, but I'm still excited about the 32 state FFL all online. My only dilemma now is I want to make it valuable for people to use it. So I want to make it as quick as possible. I want to make like the training like 10 minutes, but ethically I feel like I got to make the training longer. So I'm torn because I want to make the training longer. I want to make it like an hour long at a minimum, because even then that's not enough training for a newbie that's never, lowest common denominator, never handled a gun, to understand how to use a gun safely. Online training, even an hour is not even enough. But I want to make it fast enough that people are willing to take it. Because Jason, you and me, we're going to look at that, and I got to pay you money, and I got to sit there for a few hours of my life. I may not be wanting to do that. But if I said, hey, guess what? You can pay me a little bit of money and you can sit here for 30 minutes or less, that's way more enticing. The problem is, it's just that 30 minutes, I can't get much done. But I'm trying to keep it right at the 30 just because the loophole that I found in the law, it's allowed at whatever. I could do it for 30 seconds and it would be allowed. I just don't know if I feel ethically about that. So the software I have designed, I have a quiz at the end, and I can't stop anyone from skipping the lessons. But you get your certificate after passing the quiz. So if you want to race ahead and pass the quiz, that's up to you. It's like what the firearm safety rules are, which way to point a gun, things like that. It's just a firearm safety course. It's not a how to shoot, how to self-defense, how to anything. And you'll get the permit with the only thing you have to leave the house for is your fingerprints. Other than that, I can't figure that one out. But other than that, you don't have to leave the house. No range test, no in-person training, no anything. I'm excited about it, and I'm hoping within the next couple months to have it done. Part of the stuff I'm doing in Phoenix is I'm also going to do some of the photo shoots for the videos for that. So I'm really excited about it, and it hurts not to tell you guys the name because I'm so excited, but I'll do the mature thing and wait. Oh, we got a question here. You shut down the Facebook or the YouTube, didn't you, Jason?
Yeah, just because we were lagging so bad.
All right, Mahmood. Scott actually asked me, what reloading dies do I use? Redding, S-type, neck bushings, full size, good for long range 6.5 Creedmoor. So when it comes to loading, I'm still stuck in I'd rather have just the good enough, gear. I haven't gone crazy on the super fancy stuff for reloading yet. I'm still, I use Hornady dies. I love them. I know a lot of people don't like them for the super precision stuff, but I'm friends with Hornady. They take good care of me. So whenever I need dies, I just get my dies from Hornady, and they work great for me. I know a lot of people say don't do the full size, full length resizing because it overstresses the brass. Only do the neck resizing. Okay, do that. Yeah, I have a couple neck, resizing dies or neck bushings, and I use them. But I also full length resize, and it does fine for me too. So I don't worry about it as much as I probably should. I think if you got good brass, you use like Lapua brass for your 6.5 Creedmoor, no matter what you do, you'll be fine. You'll get some good accuracy out of it. I mean, heck, great factory ammo can outshoot most people when it comes to guns, especially something as forgiving as a 6.5 Creedmoor. Mahmood asked, a 10-shot ladder test where a chrono is used to find the lowest SD and muzzle velocity, a flat spot when powder weight is being incremented at 0.2 to 0.3 grains. What say you about this low development method? That's pretty specific, Mahmood. The ladder tests, I think, are cool. I don't know if it's true. I mean, the theory sounds neat on a ladder test. The idea of a ladder test, Jason, is you shoot at a distance and you look for an accuracy node. So you shoot at a far enough distance where you can see the spread. So probably 300 yards, 300 meters would be a good distance for it.
Right.
And you load different increment of powder, and you can just do one bullet of each. And you shoot each one consecutively, aiming at the same spot. And what you'll get is a vertical string of the bullets, right? Because they're getting more and more velocity each time. What you should see is you should see gaps between the string, and then all of a sudden they'll cluster around a certain area, and then they'll start gapping out again. And where they cluster together is where you're what's called an accuracy node. And the idea is that's where the harmonics of the barrel are just right for that velocity, for that rifle that is forgiving. You can go a little either way, and it's still going to be in the same spot. And so that's where you should focus on the rest of reloading. So, Mahmood, I think it's a great method. Again, I don't know if it's snake oil, that it sounds really cool, and so we believe it. But in my experience, it's worked. So I think you should do it. Go look at the groups, see what it does, and then fish around there. But the fact of the matter is what works. Meaning, I don't care what the ladder test says. If you find something that is a very accurate load for your gun that failed the ladder test, but it's an accurate load, don't go home and stress about why it failed the ladder test. Be happy that it shot great and use that. So, Bob, how's the new book coming? I'm coming along, man. I'm trying. So many projects going on. It's hard to get done, but I'm making progress. I actually have on my calendar now, Bob. Every single day I have time set aside for writing on the calendar. So it'll be along soon. And 84 Roberto said, come to Texas. I believe he said a range in Texas is one of my favorites. Yes, Colby Donaldson's ranch at Texas Triggers. You guys should go look that up. It's a shooting playground out there. It's a great time. So, well, Jason, I think it worked for us. We got live on YouTube and kind of half live on Facebook and comments and all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll have to play with being able to watch it at the same time. If I have to, I'll fire up another, like on my phone or system, and do it that route. I know.
Oh, right. So you don't slow it down. Yep.
Yeah. So no, for a test, I think it went really well.
All right, really cool, man. Everyone, you got episode 25 in the books. Keep telling friends about the podcast. I can see every podcast getting more popular. I can see the stats being downloaded. That's what encourages us to keep doing this. And I think that's what's going to make this go to the next level when it comes to using this technology, comes to getting more consistency of the podcast. If you guys keep sharing it and you guys keep letting people know, and it actually makes more sense to do it, which it has been, then I'll try the best. One more question came in. I'll try and get it real quick. Have you seen or heard of people using different colored magic markers on the bullets, and it shows up specific colors on the target? Yes, absolutely. That is not wise tale. If you take different colored Sharpies and color around the ogive of your bullet, you will see those colored rings in the paper, so you can watch what your groups are and see different groups. So yes, Scott, that actually works. So everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing Jason and I talk about whatever popped into our heads, and I will see you next week. Jason, are you good for next week? Are you going to make it?
Yep, I'm good for next week.
All right, next Tuesday here on YouTube. If I can figure out Facebook for both conversations, we'll be here on Facebook. We'll definitely be on the podcast. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.